I've asked a few family members if they would be willing to come up and say a few words. And so the first member of the family that we'll have come up is Jessica Matthews, who will also be speaking on behalf of Kelly Avery and Eugene Matthews. Oh, my bad.
I'm one of Franceen's many nieces and nephews. Well, niece. And I'll be reading two letters, one on behalf of my Uncle Gene and one on behalf of my mother. Dear friends and family and loved ones, today I remember my sister, Franceen Crowl. She was an amazing person. From her I learned to do for others, not wanting or expecting anything in return. She served and loved people, but first and foremost, she loved God, and that's the way she lived her life. I remember several years ago, when we lived in Tennessee near Franceen, I went to her house unannounced. I went through the front door and found her on her knees, hands lifted in the air, worshiping God. I know today she is doing that again. Although my heart is heavy at her tragic and unexpected passing, I am comforted to know that she is in the presence of God. Hug Jesus real big, sis. Love and miss you, Gene. My big sister Franceen was a person that I've always looked up to. When I was a little girl, people used to say that I looked like her. As a little girl who idolized her big sister, that was the highest compliment. Franceen taught me so much through the example of her life. She loved fiercely. She loved Dawn, her kids, and her grandkids more than words can describe. Franceen's friends and family knew her love because she showed it all of the time. But above all, she loved God. She wasn't afraid to share her love of God with those she came into contact with. Franceen was no nonsense. If there was something to be done, she wasn't afraid to do it. If we needed to be somewhere, there wasn't going to be any messing around. She was going to get us there on time, which usually meant early. Making this trip to Tennessee, knowing that she would not be here to help guide us, was one of the most difficult things I have done. Part of me did not realize until last week how much I relied on her knowledge and driving force in many situations. Franceen was the reason we got anything done on most of our family trips, and I will miss my big sister's help and guidance. Franceen was accepting, kind, and generous. She treated each new addition to our family like they had always been there. I know from my husband and son-in-law, she learned about the things they liked, remembered them, and used those interests to connect with them. It made them feel special and loved that she took the time. To me, she embodied the saying, "Do unto others as you would have them do to you." She was not afraid to give to those around her, and she showed them love and kindness. In the last stages of our mother's life, Franceen took care of her when the rest of us were unable to. I'm thankful for the sacrifices she made to ensure our mother's care, doing what she felt was needed to be done. In December of 2014, my daughter Jessica did an interview with my mom. At one point, Mom said this of Franceen: "She is always trying to help someone else. She has been taking care of me since 2007. Since then, she has been doing everything for me. She has worked so hard, and I don't know how I will ever repay her." Franceen, you were loved by so many, and your absence on this earth will be deeply felt. Every time I see a butterfly, I will think of my big sister. I love you and will miss you until we meet again. Love, Kelly.